Amanda, the emotional strength trainer, and I am here starting my Monday on a very big high, albeit feeling like a truck has hit me. I had the great pleasure this weekend of being a supporter to an event here in the town that I live in, held by two amazing people, James and Kirsty Greenshields. They have a program called Put Your Hand Up, and an initiative, Put Your Hand Up, and they're travelling all around Australia. And then when I jump on my computer this morning to start the day, I see that it's World Mental Health Day. And what I wanted to talk to you about is, hello Emma, is the notion that mental health has a bit of a stigma about it. And I'll be the first one to put my hand up to say there was a time that I shied away from it and was a bit frightened of it because I didn't know what it looked like. And that was way back when my granddad got dementia, and I'd only ever been around him when he was a calm and quiet man. And then my mum had told me that he was having angry outbursts and things like that. And it was, I didn't want to see it because I'd never known him to be anybody else but calm. Hey, Katrina. So, yesterday I got to sit in a room full of people. Now, James and Kirsty both have military backgrounds. And some of you who might know me up close and personally, I have developed a program for first responders. And once upon a time, you know, when people were saying Facebook was a bad thing, I was the one sitting up, jumping up and down, saying, no, it's great, because it has always brought me the most incredible people. Hi, Cerebra and Jode. So, Facebook brought James and Kirsty into my awareness, and I'm so glad that I reached out because they're truly the nicest people, and we speak the same language. From a military point of view, the stuff that James has been through, and you know, he was blown up by a roadside bomb and lived to tell the tale. I even got to feel the shrapnel still in his elbow yesterday. It was quite surreal. So the point of my talk today, my live today, we don't know what people are walking through in their own life. Now, the room full of people yesterday were everyday, normal people, well-dressed, going about their life. There was one chap who might have had an indicator because he had a service dog with him. Other than that, if you'd have met all of these other people, you wouldn't have had any idea of the stuff that was going on in their life. When we pop our compassionate hat on, when we sit there and stay in the space of everybody's doing the best they can with what they have, some people, what they have is mind-numbing, mind-blowing. You sit there as somebody who's never experienced it and wonder how they're coping. But the human is a miracle from birth all the way through to death, because what the brain can do for somebody in moments of time where they need it is quite incredible. So what I'm doing today is putting a little bit of light, even though I've chosen to do a black and white video this morning, on the notion that if you're suffering, then you need to, hey Kirsty, if you're suffering, just speak to someone. One of the things we are taught not to do from the earliest age is not to upset anyone. Don't say that, you'll upset someone. Don't say that, you don't know what they're going through. You don't want to burden you'll put your stuff on other people. All those sorts of things. I'm telling you that as much as we are miracles in our life, people, if you were to sit there and say, I'm having a bad day or I need a hand, you would have to have been the most dumbest, blindest person on the planet to have misjudged one of your friends and pulling them into your life and expecting that they'll say no. What I spoke about yesterday with the people is the science behind speaking. If you can get your voice to rattle it creates a vibration in your brain that allows the bad thoughts and the bad belief systems and the struggle a space to go. It vibrates out, and it's part of the process with understanding that if you just speak. If you're at that stage where you think that you don't have anybody, then get in the car and just start speaking it out aloud, or get in the shower and just start speaking it out aloud. Just speak, okay? Find somebody, even if you have a network of people, and you sit there and you say to them, some days I have bad days. Would you be all right if I ever needed to call on you or anything? No problem. The other thing, which I know from a mental health perspective with people in my life, is their, hi El, hello Areta, hi India, the process of manipulating outcomes so it looks like there's nothing wrong. Perhaps you could manipulate a cup of tea with friends to help you out, to give you a space to feel better or feel loved or something like that. You know, you have options that you can go to. Now, I understand with depression, once depression kicks in and you've got the self-destruct chemicals going on in your brain, that's not a good thing to have. It's hard to think rationally, those sorts of things. But if you can, in awareness, when you're sitting in awareness and you know you're in trouble, that's the first step to action. Awareness is the first thing that will get you into a space where you can say, what can I do? Awareness kicks in, and when you're sitting there thinking and going over things, whatever, you're able to sit there and come up with a plan. So back yourself, trust yourself. That awareness is, I'm in trouble here, is the first sentence that comes into your life that says you want to stay. And that's one of the biggest things that we need to do with this work with mental health, is to reduce the need for people to think that they're not worth it, that they shouldn't be here, they're a burden, so they decide to go through suicide. Another thing that happened yesterday, which was a first for me, was that I was in a personal development workshop day, and the higher quantity of people in the room were men. So something is shifting, something is happening. You know, all of the suicide statistics, men are the highest quantity, or the highest group of people, from I think it was 15 or 17 to 44. The most prolific group to commit suicide, because they don't think there is a way out, and they're meant to be tough, or they're meant to do all of this thing. And then the other side of the equation is that the women going through tough things because of the way society has gone in the last few decades, that, you know, women are finding their voice and women are stepping up, or women are becoming equal in society. And part of that is that they have manned up, they have gone into a masculine frame of being to try and keep up with society. And I'm telling you that that's like a false economy way of living. Women need to be women. That's not to say that women aren't strong, but that's why we have men. We have men here to be the masculine. And when the man is in the masculine, it's up to us to be in feminine. And feminine is very, very strong. Feminine is you know, there's a thing that with the work that I have done in my lifetime with this, I did a little bit of time working around the goddess energy. And one of the things that I used to teach people, women particularly, is that the goddess can give life and she can take it away. She just chooses not to. And there's a part there that gets missed in the message around women needing to be like alpha women, or alpha, or compete with alpha males. There is a dynamic that got skewed somewhere in the mix that says that we need to be as strong as our men, physically strong, be able to handle as much. When push comes to shove, absolutely, we can come in and we can be a united team, and we can do anything. But on those times where we need to honor our emotions, honor our mental capacities, honor what we're feeling, they're the moments where the most strongest person is able to say, whether they're a man or a woman, I'm not feeling so good today. I need to talk to someone. I need to put my hand up and talk to someone. You'll have heard me say before, we have an anatomy of awareness in how we work through our shit. And it's a triangle. The top chunk of the triangle is the awareness level 1, which is something's wrong. I don't feel right, or you might start having dark thoughts, or you might feel like you're starting to be a burden, that there's no point in continuing. Then you have your level 2 of awareness, where you go and seek out people who can help you, talk you through things, give you concepts, give you techniques on how to visualize, meditate, give you different points of view. Somebody looking in with a fresh set of eyes to sit there and say, that's not attached to your story, can sit there and give you a different perspective. And when you're in this level of awareness, that different perspective often creates ahas and breakthroughs, and you're like, oh, I can reframe, I can do that. Yep, that makes sense. And that's a heart response. You sit there and when you feel it, it's like things are starting to come into alignment. And then the one part that gets missed sometimes, because sometimes that aha isn't enough, is the cellular memory that gets trapped in your body when you have an emotional trauma happen in your life. And as I've said 1,000 times, emotional trauma means different things to different people. So there's no right or wrong on what a trauma is. So when you are doing the something's wrong, you talk to people about it, you go to counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, life coaches, all those sorts of things. And then you still don't feel 100%, or you feel that, like, your awareness as it grows, you can feel different things. And it's like, there's something I'm not getting, there's something not. Then you come to somebody like me, somebody like natural energy therapist people, Reiki therapists, Access the Bar people, acupuncturists, who else does it? I'm just trying to run through the list in my mind's eye. Bioresonance is very, very good. All of these people that can help shift things in your energy system. And then because the cellular memory needs to be freed as well. The cellular memory creates the neural pathways in your head, the synapses that get attached to stories. And what happens, in my view, I'm not a clinician or anything like that, but through my work over the last 8 years, I've learned that when you have an emotional trauma and it creates a cell, and then different little things happen in your life that are kind of sort of the same, and then it starts to create this synapse in your head. And it's a storyline, for want of a better term. Hello, Mel. It's a story. So every time something happens and your mind looks at that and it turns things around to help you sit there and think, you know what? This is what happens. This is how it works. It's always doing this. And then it grows and it grows. And then as you turn into an adult, or as you're going through the decades, then you get triggers. So somebody can be sitting there in the supermarket, or one of your kids will say something to you, and that story that you created when you were 13, when your dad was being an asshole because he was going through his story, and your kid says something, and you happen to be 13 when your dad said something to you, and you look at your kid and you think, the synapses all fire, dopamine hit, reward, I'm right. And then the kid cops it because every trigger that has been built over the last few decades just... And then the kid who's only got 13 years of life experience is looking at you with these giant big dinner plate eyes with, what just happened? And that's where we get the roll-on effect. Okay? Hopefully that has explained some stuff for you. I hope that I have helped a little bit in giving you permission to ask for help, to want the change, to know that there are people around that are doing everything they possibly can to spread the word, to be able to help any way they can. There's communities building, and that's what I'm so grateful today. You know, when I decided to step out on my own and do this work full time, and then back in November last year, I decided I just had to take this step on my own. I didn't have anyone around me that had the exact same belief systems, because my work is very unique. And I thought, how am I going to get a tribe around this? And then, as always, Facebook in all of its genius. I think Facebook helped the dead people get connections quicker because the people that have come into my life, you'll see me talk about them. You'll see them talk about me. You will see the people that I have in my life when I'm having selfies and photos. There are big groups of people that are prepared to help and can help with effective action. One of the things with mental health is it's okay to talk about it and get it off your chest, and it's an important step. But when you put positive action in play, you have to start looking at ways to let it go. Now, there's no judgment in that sentence. I'm saying that from a place of two people who want to let it go. Because some people don't, and that's okay. That's part of your story, and it's part of your journey, and there's no right or wrong. We have to want the change. We have to want to be able to step into the life that we are looking for, or living, or breathing. And if you have people, I'm now talking to people who have people around them who don't want to change. They're happy to stay in their story. So this bit's for you. Okay. If there are people in your life who are not taking positive action, they're just living in their story, they're not progressing, it's bringing you down, it is making your life hard, it is robbing you of your joy and your ability to cope with your own life. I would like to let you know that there is no obligation to make sure that that person keeps going. Now, does that mean you have to leave their life? No. It just means that you cut the energy ties. You love them anyway, but you just sit there and say, you know what, that's on you. I can't help you because I don't think you want my help. I'm just going to love you. Here, have a cuddle or rub the hand. You're allowed to set boundaries around what you are able to cope with. You know that thing of put the mask on first so that you can help other people because you're no good with no oxygen in your body and you're dead. It's the same for people with mental health issues that don't want change. That, doesn't even have to be mental health issues, just people who are stuck in their story and have dug themselves a big trench and can't get out of it. There is no book anywhere that says that you must give up everything in your life to ensure that that person gets out of the trench. Because the best way you can show them how to get out of a trench is to live your life in a positive, action-based way. Positivity is another thing. It's positivity, once you've got it in a core sense, it's easy to live with it, but you can't get to the positive without acknowledging the fear. So, bit of homework for the people who don't want, or who are struggling with people with mental illness and don't know what to do. Action 1, write down a list of fears, everything that you're frightened of in association with that person. Will they, if I give up on them, will they kill themselves? If I give up on them, will they stop loving me? If I give up on them, blah, blah, blah. Every fear you have associated to that. Read it out aloud, burn it. Just address it, okay? Because that is the thing that's holding up your space in being able to just love them. Just send them bits of love. Then, once you've written that list and read it out aloud and burnt it, then you can go into the feeling of what it will feel like as soon as that person starts to see the negative action. One thing that happens when we sit in a space of fear that we must help, we can't lose them, we can't let them kill themselves, we can't do this, we can't do that, is that it sometimes becomes an enablement relationship. You enable people to stay stuck. Now, there's no, again, there's no responsibility or be careful or, you could be doing this because that's, again, that can lead to more stress. But I said that out aloud for anyone that struggles with the notion that pulling back means that you're not loving them. That's a lie. You can pull back, you can cut your energy ties and still love them fiercely. That's still a total possibility. It's when you're operating from a place of fear that the energy gets all mucky and gunky. But when you can cut it and make it a pure line of just love, and one of the best sentences that I've ever given, I got this in a session one day. You know what? I have faith and trust that you're going to get through this and you can handle it. I trust you that you are strong enough to be able to do what you need to do to get through this. I have faith and trust in you. I believe in you. All those kind of positive statements that even if you haven't done your fear work or you start your fear work and you've got to keep saying it, the energy will shift that will create the situation for that person to feel valued because you're telling them that you trust that they will be able to take action and do whatever. And James said a great tip yesterday, turn it into a coffee table book. If you find something that you think is helpful for somebody, print out a brochure or get a brochure and just leave it on the side table or leave it on the coffee table. They might pick it up. But the best lessons, teaching way that you can be is to just live it yourself and show them. Give them the opportunity to say yes. It's one of the greatest things when you step out of fear that somebody is going to pop their clogs or say no, and this is also associated with illness, is to step away and show them how to live that life and give them the opportunity to say yes. Most loving, kindest thing you can do for yourself and for them. Okay? Okay, so that's Monday's mindfulness for World Mental Health Day. I hope you all have a fabulous day and a great rest of your week. See you again soon. Bye for now.